Hello and welcome back to TLD Flyer Tyler 658 Ultimate Fan Art Tutorials. This is TLD Flyer Tyler 658 Ultimate, and today I will be showing you in our final episode of Season 2 of the Art Tutorials, the Class 195. Now this was a new addition to Northern Rail, especially for the Barnsley and sometimes Rotherham routes. But I'll show you the details as we get started. Okay, we shall begin. Okay, so here is an image of Class 195 from Northern Rail. This is not as complex as the original Class 158, but as you can see, you'll have enough room for the wheels and enough room for the tracks, but we'll get to that in just a mo. So there's a propeller thing or helmet thing to cover the battery, handles, lights, electric buffers, couple, windows, major doors. We're just going to draw this mini bit here. So I'll just show you how to draw that mini bit here. It's two trains, but since we only have a short amount of time, I'm not going to show you how to draw all of the train, if that's okay. We'll just show you how to draw most of it. But yeah, this is just an example, okay? So as you see, you know where everything, this is taken at Meadowhall Interchange, where I usually do my train filming. I took a picture of this last year. I'm meant to be doing some at the end of April this year as a return. So before I start rambling on, I'll show you which, everything's ready now. So you've got the picture ready, layer, freehand path tool, changes, but I'm going to show you that in another video so we can get on with this. Okay, let's get a move on. So we'll start with the back. No, we'll start at the front just to make it a bit easier for you guys. So we'll make sure we draw the window. So we might need to use this tool here, and I'll show you which way it's supposed to be. If it's too big, it's only because we don't want it too small. We want to make sure that there's enough, leverage and wideage. Wideage isn't just a word, it's just how I pronounce it. So we're not going to go into too much detail. Yeah, so we can just do that, or we can change the size. But this is just a minute way to show you. So we'll change the size a little bit, and we'll start again. There we go. Go to we'll say 9 for this part, and then when we do the actual windows on the other side, then that's when we can change the size to go whether to up or down or not. There we go. Yeah, for this part, you don't want to use the line tool yet. This is due to because we need to make sure that this actually does count for an actual diesel engine. It may not be an actual diesel engine, but this could be an electric diesel, or you get the picture. Oh, wrong shape. We need the line tool. This is what happens in my last video. Just whatever mistake I do not do that mistake. Just ignore that mistake. Otherwise, it's just pointless in just learning about it. It's not it gets annoying when you don't follow the instructions, even if it is difficult for that particular amount of time. Just focus on it, okay? Because me talking is going to distract you, but at least when we've got part of the shape, we know which shapes that we're at, right? Now, we'll do this bottom part here, but we need to make sure there's enough room for the doors and stuff. So this will just be windows for now. Make sure there's enough room for the doors and stuff, and maybe the hedge thing to let people off. That helps, you know. Basically, it's just a step. So while we're doing this, I'll explain to you that the next season will commence in September, but they'll be recorded over the summer holidays. I don't know when, but I just know that they're going to start in September. This is due to a few personal issues going on right now, but I'm not going to mention because nobody's done anything. Anyway, the point is, I do need to break from teaching you guys until my actual thing is on hold. So, but don't worry, you'll have plenty of back catalogue to watch. Because that's what we're here for, back catalogue. It's about compilation here. So you need to make sure that you've got enough, if you've got enough old catalogue, back catalogue pieces of footage, just upload to your YouTube channel if you've got it, or if you're into this type of stuff. Yep, ledgers or couples or buffers or whatever you call them. These are the buffers. That middle bit there is your couple. Or that's what I think. Well, couple anyway. Couple as in trains, but you get what I mean. Hook. We'll call it a hook. We'll get to the doors and windows in just a sec. Yeah, we can't make any promises, but we can make sure that everything is in order. Right, so we've got the window, we've got the driver's seat step there, or mini ladder. It's best to have it on this size because you know that the wheels are going to go in front anyway. There we go. Now, let's see how we've done so far. Wow, that's the best we can do over here, but that doesn't mean that we can't do the tracks inside. Pardon me. Let's see. Let's just think about it for a moment here. So we've got the ladders. We can use this shape tool again. Okay, now let's move on to the steps. It needs to be enough room for the doors. We'll just ignore this part. We know it's a wheelchair one, so. Okay, let's start with the doors. We can change the size now. We can go back to number 9 in just a sec. This is just because we need to make sure that the doors aren't as wide as we did the last class 158. We'll use the shape tool again. Oh, sorry, I was a bit distracted there. Sorry. This is something you should never do when you're teaching someone. Otherwise, you'll be lost. So here we're at with the doors and the door windows. Now, these have been around since late 2019. I didn't start filming any of these until the beginning of March, just before the lockdown in 2020. So that's why we've not seen them for over a year. That's why I didn't see them for over a year. But now we're back on track and managed to start filming these regularly in 2021, but only for the last 2 months. So that's why I didn't do many of these as often as I would have. I would have really loved to do these. Seriously, I would. Okay, so we've got the doors for this one. We need to do the doors for the back one. We already know it's for the wheelchair, so we'll ignore the wheelchair color, because this is going to be a one-time thing like the others. And now we just do the doors in between. There we go. No problem here. And we're complete. Now for the windows. These windows shouldn't even have to take long, but if you know which tool you want to use, then this is probably going to be your right answer. Yeah, the windows are important for any sort of transport you do. I've not done planes before. I've never done a plane. I would take a picture of a plane and do one for my cousin at one point for a Christmas gift. But I only specialize, well, just so you know, I'm more of a train and bus enthusiast, and maybe a boat one if I get to go on a ride on a boat sometime. But these will be low budget activities for you to do. And this is free. So if you guys needed to, like, you know, move digital to art instead of your regular traditional pencils and crayons and whatnot, you can always come to Krita. It's only free. But for like Premiere Pro and Illustrator, you've got to pay for that, as you know, it's Adobe. But something like this, it's absolutely free. Don't cost you out to order something like this. There we go. Nice and safe. If this was a card, then you'd have to ask permission. Now, for this train per se, it is conjoined. So let's see. Won't need to colour this part in because this will be it'll be like watching Sleeping Beauty on Disney Plus, except that you don't have to watch the Elle Fanning version. Jordan, pardon my French. I do talk to myself sometimes. Sorry to be distractive. Jordan, Tyler Love talks to himself. There, I said it. I need to do a little damage control here. Sorry about that. Yes, so I do prefer Mary Costa to Elle Fanning's version. There. Sorry to be off topic like that. And sorry for talking to myself in public when it's a public computer. Sorry about that. If people are watching, they'll want to know about this. Now, for these windows, you need to make sure that the arch, rather than make it small, as you're already on a certain something, just make sure that the windows are now, to make this easier for you, just make sure that the, windows are actually, because you won't have enough time to do the whole train or diesel engine. So we'll just leave it at that. And we are almost done. Wow. Now, that is what you call a train that you don't need to do doors for. Right, let's go back to the colours. So blue, because last year I remember doing something like this. I did a lot of I did a lot of something like this called for something, and this was definitely for oh, go back to this a minute. So we know I might have to change the size of this. So it'll be 4. Let's see. Links. It's always good to link. So white, blue, and yellow for the front, but it'll be just blue for now. It'll just be blue for now. So blue for now, and we can just draw this mini line here. That way, we're not conjoining each color. There we go. It's always best to keep yourself focused, even if you don't get focused yourself for doing it. There we go. It's always best to do that, because if you don't, then you're completely stuck. Yeah, you're completely stuck, and then who knows what you need to do then. Now, shape tool again. And these were the lights, and these were the lights come in. These are where the lights come in. There, all fixed for this part. Let's just see now where we've got up to so far. Yep. Now that's the best we could do for the class 195. Class 331, I won't need to show you how to draw because they both look the same. So if you want to call it a class 195 or a class 13331, be my guest, but they do look the same, they just sound a little differently. Because the class 331s are based in Donny and they're used for Leeds to Donny, while the Leeds to Sheffield ones are in these. Piece of advice for you guys there. I also advise not messing about with the, you want to keep it one at a time. It's going to be difficult if you try and do something like this yourself. Okay, so we've got windows, which we'll sort that out now because it's going to be a lie if we don't, that looks better. Right, so handles, wheels, and letters, I think that'll be it. And then it'll be time for the track, and then we'll add the colours. Okay. And I can't believe Northern's going to be changing its name in the next month. So this may be the last Northern video you might see. Class 150 was originally planned for September, but that might be a while now. Okay. They'll only have a few wheels, but at least we can get them done. In fact, it would be better just to leave them, actually. We don't want to give away too much copyright. I should have informed you of that. Well, that's just a little try. So, back to the black. Okay, so wheels now. Wheels, and then we'll add a new layer for the train tracks that we're going to be doing. We might need to open up the size a little bit more. In fact, we might have enough room to put both the wheels and the track on the same layer. We'll just have to try and do that because we don't want to distinguish it from anything else. Right, so for these shapes, we need to, these are called boxes, I think, or, fuel boxes or diesel boxes. We'll use the shape tool for that. And we are complete. Now we can do the track now. So we'll open a new layer. So the line tool, we'll need it on 10 to make sure that there's enough rail to cover. Yep. See if there's enough guests. Yep. The idea for each piece of train art, you must draw rails. It's not all like what's in Thomas the Tank Engine, the original Railway series books, or in the TV show. This is real life. And with real life trains, and these aren't models, you have to make sure they're set where there's rail. Otherwise, you won't know whether it's coming or going. So that's the whole point of these things. You need to make sure there's enough time for rail. The idea in this certain amount of time is you work slow and you take your time. Because if you work fast on these things, then it takes absolutely ages to start again. This isn't a group session. This is your own project that you're doing at home. And in this one, you've got to make sure that these are, even if not all of them are connected, at least you know which one you're meant to be doing. So take your time, don't rush, take your time with it, because this isn't a group session. This is your session that you choose to do. And for that, it must be correct, okay? Now, to save moaning like this, we're going to try and make sure that the line is, spread out from the rails, because you don't want the rails, right? You don't want the rails distinguished from the actual diesel engine. There, sorted. Now, back to where we were with the train. So we'll start with the fronts. It's got to be yellow. It must not have the Northern logo or the fleet number. That's something important. You must remember that. We'll make it like dark blue here, so it looks like the exact color. Because you want to make sure that it fits with the right, Right, we'll make this like a. You've got to make sure that the same colors are used thoroughly. And when I mean thoroughly, I mean absolutely thorough. because these are actual diesel trains that are meant to be looking for delivery. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be copyrighted, but it does have to be in the correct livery. So, for example, you must make sure that the livery is gotten to the points. Otherwise, you won't know. Otherwise, you won't know where you're actually at with this thing. Because with trainer, you've got to be very careful. This isn't like your actual bus where they turn in for the day. This is an actual train that has its own depot further down in Yorkshire. Okay. Now, there we go. There we go. Yeah, so for the pieces missing, you have to use a line tool to make sure that they're in position and you don't miss any pieces of colour that is missing. Don't leave anything out, because you have to make sure that it's fully coloured, otherwise you won't know exactly what that colour is. That goes double for the buffers or the couples or whatever. They've got to be perfect with this. If you want your perfect thing, you've got to make it perfect. So you've got to make sure that they are neat, or neat. Otherwise, it's just a bland piece of transport that is, badly coloured or badly animated, if in that sense. So at the minute, so you've got to make sure that it is in that position, even if you were in that position before, right? Okay, so you've got to make sure it's in that position, completely in that position. Otherwise, it's just pointless. And otherwise, it's because putting words into people's mouths isn't actually, appropriate. But to make sure it's perfect, you've got to make sure you're grinding the gears, because it's like pistons. But these diesel engines have gears. They don't have pistons. Not modern trains do anyway. You get the point. So let's just go on with this. Now we'll sort out the windows last. Now let's see, buffers and couple. Okay, so back to where we were with the pistons. Now, these aren't pistons, these are just, diesel boxes. Because as you know, this is not a steam engine. Now, silver. Those. Now, we'll sort out the rails later, but I hope you've learned your lesson. Well, what I've shown you. Clear skies, as what Tia Pepper would say. Okay, back to the rails. Now, these rails are important. So let's see if we make a green dark color to make sure there's enough room to make it less distinguished. Okay, ready? Might have to lift this in a bit. Let it be less distinguished than the others. So just zoom in a bit closer to us. I've been in that position. And now it is over. There we go. Nice and finished. Sorry it took longer than expected, and just ignore what I've said in the previous if I've talked to myself multiple times. I'm really sorry about that. I needed a bit more sleep. Anyway, have the rest of your day off and unwind. Bye.